Good morning, all you beautiful people. Welcome back to High School Trauma, the best news channel for middle school students. I am Gloria Border, and I will be your host for this lovely afternoon. Today we will be following along the life of Morgan Hebert, a student who goes to Joseph H. Curt in Snow Lake, Manitoba. She is in grade 8 and will be graduating to grade 9 this June. Breaking news. She might not be going to grade 9. Thank you for tuning in to this segment of High School Trauma. We are interviewing Morgan Hebert, the high school student from grade 8. So, Morgan, we were wondering, what are your accomplishments up to this point in your life?
Thanks, Gloria. One of my accomplishments getting this far in my life is that I'm still alive. Because I've been alive for, almost 14 years now. That's a long time, and I feel accomplished for that, thank you. In all seriousness, I haven't really done a lot in my life that I can be proud of because I don't do anything really. But I do have a couple of things that I am proud of. So one of my accomplishments this year was that I got onto the senior volleyball team, and I played in Jace Ryan, and that was really cool. Because when we were kids, I remember everyone always being like, oh look, it's Jace Ryan this weekend, we should go watch it or something. And I was never one of those kids, but I always wanted to play in Jace Ryan, and I did. So, little me, we did it. Something else I'm proud of this year would be Frontier Games and Divisionals. Our team did way better than I thought we would, our volleyball team, and we got all the way to Divisionals, and we got first in that, and I was mind blown because I honestly didn't think we would make it that far at all. So good job, girls. That's one of my accomplishments this year. And I also got to Divisionals for trap setting. And this year I've had my best times ever. I've had low 30s while practicing, but I kind of stumbled a little bit at Divisionals and I got more high 30s, low 40s, which is actually really good in the trap setting community, but it's not good for me, and I managed to get second though, so I'm still proud of that. And so here's some clips from Frontier Games and Divisionals.
This is Divisionals in Norway House. Thanks, Bryden. Okay, so I just want to point out that this is where I started off serving, and I think I've gotten a lot better.
Another one of my accomplishments getting this far in life is fiddling. I'm not the best at fiddling, and I know a lot of people who are a lot better at fiddling than I am. But I try not to let that get to me because I'm in the high school fiddling class and that's pretty cool. So yeah, I am in high school fiddling. I am level 4 in fiddle jams, well in the big jam, which is really good. And level 4 there's no high, medium, low, it's just 4 all because that's how good I am, get on my level. Another one of my accomplishments in school is my grades because actually I have overall a 94.2 overall average, and that's pretty good. If I keep that up, I could get into some pretty good top-notch universities with that. Another one of my accomplishments would be quadding and skidooing. I'm not the best at them, but I like doing it, and it's kind of a passion of mine, and since that makes me happy, I feel like I'm good at it. Sort of. Not the best, but I enjoy it and I have fun. So I think that's pretty good. So my dad took me to Golden, BC, and we went skidooing in the mountains. And that was really fun, and there was a lot of things to be proud of with that whole trip. I did a whole lot of really steep, high pulls, so that's really good. I haven't really done anything on quads that's too amazing other than I've been to Squall by myself. I mean, it's not really that amazing, but I mean, for me it is, because my parents are really strict and never let me go anywhere, so I'm really glad that I just got to go there by myself. Here's a video of me in the mountains.
So after finding out that I lost all the videos, I just decided to use pictures. So here's us at the summit of the mountain. And on our way home, I managed to fall into a creek. And it was very deep and they had to shovel me out. This would be my 7th birthday, 6th or 7th, when I got my first quad. And this was the most recent quad derby I went to. We went in a big mud pit and it got pretty dirty.
Another one of my accomplishments would be Peace Gardens, because I wrote my letter to try to get accepted for the sponsorship at the beginning of May, I think. And I got accepted just recently, like last week or something. I'll be sure to represent well, Snow Lake. I think those are all of the accomplishments I have up to this point in my life. I haven't really done a lot, like I've said before, but at least there's some stuff to be proud of, and I hope to have many more in the future. Back to you, Gloria.
Wow, those are a lot of accomplishments for a girl who's only in grade 8. They say high school is when your life really begins, so we hope you all the best through your high school years. Our next question is, what are some of your talents? We're all dying to hear what some of your hobbies are when you're not in school.
Wow, I'm flattered. So, some of my talents? Well, I'd like to say I'm pretty good at drawing. I mean, some of the stuff I come out with I'm not very proud with, but otherwise, I'm really happy with the stuff I draw. So, here's some of my drawings.
So here are just some of my favorites that I have up on my wall. I'd say that these are some of my best pieces that I've drawn ever. And there's some stuff from Carfuff and Mazra.
I also really like doing photography. I learned about this hobby of mine last year in ELA. When we were taking pictures around, I was like, hey, this is kind of cool. You get to look at something from a new perspective. And then you get to show people how you see the world. And I think that's pretty cool. Here are some of my pictures. And do you hear that? That's me. One of my talents is music. As I said before in my accomplishments, I really like playing fiddle, and I have a couple instruments. I really enjoy music because it just calms you down, whether you're playing it or whether you're listening to it. So let's just appreciate my music for a second longer. I'm also pretty talented at sports, in my own way. I enjoy basketball a lot. I'm not really the best, but I'm learning. And I'm pretty good at being annoying in basketball, so I like being on defense. Another one of my talents is gaming. I like to game. I like a lot of games, but I like Assassin's Creed, Final Fantasy, and Overwatch because it's better than Fortnite. Here's a video of me gaming. Also, I have a couple weird talents. So, apparently a lot of people can't, raise their eyebrows. So I can raise my eyebrows, kinda sorta. I can raise this one really good, but that one not quite so much. I can move my ears. Somewhat. and I can do a clover with my tongue, and the only other person that I know who can do that is Tyler. So, hi. I'd say that's about it for my talents. I mean, I'm sure if I sat here for a while, I could think of a couple more, but at the moment, I think that's about it. So what's your next question, Gloria?
Thanks for sticking around. Now, Morgan, our next question we have for you is, what are some of your strengths? Because, high school's hard, and if you point out your strengths, it's probably going to be easier for you to get through knowing what you're good at and what you need to work on.
Now, some of my strengths. I'm actually pretty strong, like, physically, kind of, sorta. I mean, I'm not the strongest person in the world, but I'm not weak either. I'm stronger than some of the people in our class. Grr, I'm strong! Another one of my strengths would probably be, like, stuff around, like, art and writing and stuff, because usually if you give me a subject, I'll have, like, a whole story planned out before anything else happens. And with art, I can usually think of something to draw, and if I work hard enough at it, I can get something nice out of it. And I can't really think of any more strengths, but one off the top of my mind, one of my strengths is that I'm almost good at everything I do. If you tell me what to do, I can usually, like, push through the bushes and wade through the thick water to, try to figure out how to do whatever I'm trying to get done. With drawing, I didn't give up on drawing until I was, like, pretty good, until you could tell what I was drawing. And that's like everything that I do. If I'm not good at it, then I'll strive to get better at it until I kind of know what I'm doing, and then if I don't like it, I might, like, throw it off and just stay there. Yeah.
Wow. Well, since we're on the topic of strengths, you need to work on something as well. So what are some of your weaknesses?
Gloria, of course you'd want to talk about weaknesses. I mean, if you really want to know someone, you gotta know what they're bad at, right? I'm terrible at cooking. Every time I cook, I nearly burn the house down or give people food poisoning. My brother's 2 and I gave him food poisoning. Also, one of my weaknesses would be talking and just being in public. Because if I'm ever doing anything and someone's like, you need to go talk to them, I'm like, well, you should do it for me. Like, I can't do that. And I can barely talk to my friends sometimes. Like, I just get so nervous. They're like, hey, look, you should go talk to that person. I'm like, talking? English? What? Like, I just get so nervous anytime I have to do anything. And I actually realized I was talking to someone, and I realized that I was, like, about to cry, and I'm like, they're having a normal conversation with me. Why am I about to cry? And I noticed it was because I stopped blinking. When I talk to people I don't know, or if I'm uncomfortable in a situation, I stop blinking. So I start to tear up because my eyes are watering, because I'm not blinking. That's great. Another weakness of mine would be my anger. Like, my brother can do any small thing to me, and I'll get angry. Very angry. Like, my brother will walk into my room, and I'll be like, get up, and he'll be like, no! And then he'll, like, take something of mine. And I'm like, okay, like, he's not gonna break it or anything, and I know he won't break it, but it's like, he'll take something that he knows I'll need. So I'll go after him, and I'll be like, hey, Jace, you need to give that back. And he's like, no! And then he just does stuff that he knows makes me angry. So then I'm like, Chase, I'm getting angry. He's like, I know! And then, BAM! He's on the floor crying, and I'm grounded. Another weakness of mine is listening to instructions. I'll listen to the first instruction, and anything else after that, I do not listen to at all, and I have no idea what anyone said after that.
So now that you know my whole life story, do you have any other questions for me?
Thank you for sharing your weaknesses with us. That takes a lot of courage. Our next question is, how do you use your strengths and weaknesses in real life? What do you volunteer for around town? Do you volunteer around town?
Actually, yeah, I have done quite a few stuff around town, Gloria. One of the things I've done is I was doing the scorekeeping for zones, basketball zones this year. I messed up a couple times and the crowd got kind of mad. I mean, if I was in the crowd, I probably would have too. And it was really stressful because I've never done it before and I needed to do like the actual big one up front, and that was really scary because I knew I was gonna mess up and I knew everyone would get mad at me, and I'm like, now I'm gonna be the kid who messed up. So that's me, the kid who messed up. But at least I helped because some people didn't show up, so I helped out. Also, I got stuck and I had to leave my skidoo there because it broke down, so that's great. I volunteered at the cost of a skidoo. Another recent volunteer effort I've done is the bottle drive. The Rangers were doing it, and we didn't have to do it, but it raises money for our trip in 2020. We're going to Europe, and we did a bottle drive, and we collected beer bottles to donate to the bar, and we organized them. We had to go get them. We took some donations from very nice people, and I liked helping out with that, so that's good. Another thing that I've done recently was the Legion ladies needed some help cleaning up the Legion, and they posted a little thing on Facebook saying, oh, come for a little community cleanup. And me and my mom were supposed to go, and I was supposed to drive my mom and her friend on the quad, but then my dad took the quad, and then my mom had to take the kids, so she's like, don't go, Morgan, you need to help me with the kids. And I said, no. And I went anyway. And guess what? I was the only kid at the Legion. I was the only volunteer who showed up. So that was great. I helped a bunch of old ladies clean up the Legion, and it only took a couple hours, and I got free food out of it, so that's great. I will admit that I probably could do more around town, but I don't, because I'm usually busy doing school stuff or just like out quadding or something. But definitely in my future, since I'm going to be getting a job soon, maybe, I would like to get into more volunteer efforts, because you put that on your resume and then BAM! It's easier to get a job. I know how jobs work. And I think that's about it, Gloria. So, is that all, or?
Wow, you seem to be really active around town. That's pretty good. So, now that we know some of your hobbies, and we know actually quite a bit about you now, so what are some of your short-term goals?
My short-term goals are, like, pretty short, and they're not very ambitious. So, one of my nearest goals that I want to do is I want to finish this thesis. I'm putting a lot of work into it, and it's taking me a long time because I'm putting a lot of work into it. So I hope that I could actually do something and produce something that's somewhat good quality. Another one of my short-term goals is to do good in track, because it's my last track and all the grade 8's last track as well. Another one of my short-term goals is to become less anxious, because I'm anxious all the time, everywhere, every moment of the day. Like, someone will walk by me and I'm like, are they gonna talk to me? Please don't talk to me. And I'm just like really anxious about anything. So one of my goals is to get better at being not anxious. That's pretty much my short-term goals at the moment, because right now I just want to finish grade 8. That's my thing. I'm finishing grade 8, and from there I'm just winging it. And grade 9, I'm just gonna do it, just go for it, sprint all the way through it. It might be a struggle, but I'll make it.
Wow, that's pretty straightforward. So, if those are your short-term goals, then what are your midterm goals?
So, my midterm goals are, I guess, a little bit more ambitious than my other ones. My midterm goals are to get a job because, I want money, because I need to buy stuff in my life, so that's great. Also, I'm planning to go to some, expensive universities, and my parents are going to need all the help they can get. Another one of my midterm goals would be to make a game, because, that's what I want to do in my life, and I might as well start off young. So I'm planning on, in my high school, to take some sort of computer course throughout my years, and I also want to make a game of my own, even if it's just some knockoff game, like the racing hill climb game. I've seen people remake that in their own way, and that's super cool. So even if I could do just something simple like that, then that would be pretty nice. Another thing I would like to do in my high school career is write a book, because I have 3 books started because I've had ideas and I just jolted a couple pages down for a story, and I haven't really gotten to any of them because my thesis popped up, and then there's exams, and then there's this happening, and I haven't really had time to actually get into it. So before I graduate, I would like to actually write a book and publish it and see how that goes for me. So that's great. And one of my last midterm goals would be just to do something cool. I mean, I've jumped off a building before, ziplining. That was very badly worded. I was ziplining and I jumped off a building. But I mean, I haven't really done anything really cool and to be like a conversation starter kind of thing. I don't really walk up to people and be like, I jumped off a building once. They'll probably run and call an ambulance or something. So I want to do something cool that you can start a conversation with. Oh, what's something that you've done in your life? And you're like, yeah, I did this pretty cool thing once. But I haven't really done anything like that. So I would like to do that. It's one of my goals. I wonder what your next question's gonna be.
Wow, those are pretty average for teenagers. Now, let's get into the good stuff. So, what are some of your long-term goals?
Well, thanks for sticking around to listen to me, Gloria. So, some of my long-term goals are a lot better than my other midterm, short-term goals that we just talked about. So one of my most long-term goals is that I want to get into a good university. So when I'm older, I want to make games and work with computer programming and stuff like that. So one of the best schools in the world for that is MIT. There are 21,706 applicants for 2020, and only 1,464 of them get in. So that gives MIT a 6.1 acceptance rate, which means that every 7 out of 100 students get picked. So hopefully I get in. And to get in, you need a 96. A lot over 96 to be even considered. So I'll have to get my grades up. Another school that I'm looking at is AIE, which is the Academy of Interactive Entertainment. And it's located in Australia, so that's a long ways to go. But the school has exactly what I want. It's an international school, and it's got a whole bunch of cool stuff about it. And it's pretty much the same as MIT, but it's just a little bit easier to get into, because it's not as much of an international school, and it's not the best of the best, but it's still really good. So that's great. Another one of my long-term goals has to do with my future. I want to be able to code a lot better than I can now, and if I don't get there, then I'm assuming that I totally gave up with coding. So, yeah. Another long-term goal I have is to move out of my parents' house, because I don't want to be in my parents' house forever, because who wants to live with their parents forever? In the far future, I'm thinking when I'm around 30, I'm thinking of having a family. So that's super long-term goals. That's great. So Gloria, is this interrogation almost over?
Wow, that's pretty ambitious. I hope you get into the school that you want and that you have good luck in your future. So, we have one last question for you. So, what are your worries and concerns in life?
The last question's always the hardest, isn't it, Gloria? Well, one of my worries and concerns is my grandma. Because in October, she had a heart attack, and she was rushed to the hospital, and family from everywhere was just going into Winnipeg, and it turns out that she had a hole in her heart, and she just had a whole bunch of other problems, so they rushed her in for open heart surgery, and everyone was panicking. It was mass confusion, So, but she survived and she's doing fine now, but I'm still worried about her because she's still on a whole bunch of different medication. She had to explain them all to me, and I made sure she was taking all of her medicines and all the right stuff, the right amounts. Even though my uncle already did that, I need to make sure, I need to know what everything's about. I need to know why she's taking them, how much she needs to take, and she has to explain every one of her doctor visits to me because I'm just worried about her. Because she means a whole lot to me, and I want to make sure she's okay. So it's always kind of like in the back of my mind. Ever since that October day, it's kind of just been like mass panic in my head, and it's just never stopped. Another one of my worries would be my brother, Chase, because, well, ever since he was born, I wasn't very fond of him, and everyone's always like, oh, it's just a little thing, and when he gets older, you guys will, you'll be as close as ever, and you'll be like, why did we ever fight? But I'm not just worried about, Chase and I's relationship, as siblings, but I'm just worried that he's going to do something in his life that he's going to regret later. Because he's not exactly the perfect kid. He's smart, but he's bad. He is bad. And I'm just worried that I'm gonna be the Morgan whose brother's in jail. By the time I'm in grade 12. Or maybe I'll just be that kid in university. At least then no one will know who Chase is, so. I'm also worried about me, which, that sounds kind of selfish to say out loud, but for example, I've restarted this thesis 4 times. This is my 4th runaround of it. And I'm just, super perfectionist, and if something isn't the way I like it, I'll redo it. Or with my, anger management issues, I can't do anything with that, or else I might get angry, and then I'm hurting my brother all the time, and I don't like doing that. And then, what if I'm not good enough to get into the schools I want to do? And then there's track. It's what if I'm not good enough at track? And what if I'm not good enough in school? And then, what if I'm not good enough for this and this and this? And it's I just have all these things circling around, and I'm trying to do so much at once, and I can't handle it, and I need to learn how to just put stuff down and accept things as they are. So I'm worried that I might not be able to do that, and I might not get as far as I want to go, or I'm going to try too hard and throw away the good things that I already have. Well, now that the whole world knows my deepest, darkest secrets... You said that was your last question, Gloria?
Wow, that's so heartwarming that you're so concerned about your family. I guess you will have to spend your whole life with them, so you kind of need to have a good relationship and care about them a whole lot. Well, I guess that's the end of this interview. Thank you for sharing all of this with us. By request of a couple classmates, I've decided to add a clip of me from a couple months ago, so here it is.
Cool. You kids in grades 7, 8 think that you're funny? With all your fart jokes, just wait till you see this. Hold on. How's that for a rip? Okay, I'm done.
This is why I should go to grade 9. I wonder if Mr. Fisher knows that this is me.
Bang.
Thank God it's over.